Good afternoon, everyone. We are live with Sheriff Smith in Apalachicola at the Scipio Marina Creek. It actually has new owners, Mr. Trey Ross. So we're out here on his private dock and live with Sheriff Smith.
Good afternoon, everybody. We are on beautiful Scipio Creek, and as Christy said, this is under new ownership, and where we are now is going to be part of the restaurant. They're going to be opening soon. They'll have, I guess, an oyster bar, really beautiful view of Scipio Creek, but that's really not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about things going on in the community, what's happening at the sheriff's office, and to take any questions you may have. And some of the things that are really, I think, really on people's minds of late would be school safety. I know now it's summertime and school is out, so we're a lot of plans going on about school safety and what the superintendent, sheriff's office, school board, what may transpire. But everybody should rest assured there will be adequate school resource deputies in the schools this coming year. I've met with the superintendent and we've discussed it, and I know that she's met with the school board and talked to them about it. But no fear there. We're going to continue with the great partnership that we have, and also hopefully bring in some more programs. We're talking about bringing back DARE, of course, doing the bullying and teen driver challenge. We have some folks that are teen driver challenged certified now, so they can teach the teen driver challenge to new and young drivers, which I think will be a huge asset. So those are some of the things that have to do with school safety. The Guardian program, we discussed that. Personally, I don't have a problem with the Guardian program because it's not for teachers, it's for administrative staff and coaches or someone that's doing ROTC. So there are folks that could qualify for that if they successfully complete the training. The training is a huge undertaking, and I don't know, probably a lot of people wouldn't want to undertake it. Over 130 hours of training, defensive tactics, drug test, psychological test, ongoing remedial training. So it's a huge undertaking for someone to be able to carry a firearm on campus. And they actually take more training than a recruit does in the basic academy. So it's huge if someone were to decide to do that, but it's not for teachers who are in the classrooms doing those types of functions. One of the things we want to talk about as well was summer safety. We know school's out, and we still need to be very conscious of kids because there's going to be a lot of kids out doing things for the summer. They're going to be on bicycles, they'll be walking, they'll probably be in groups, and there'll also be activities at the school. So please be aware of these kids when you're driving. I know I get a lot of complaints about traffic all across the county, excessive speed, tailgating, distracted driving. Please, please, please continue to be diligent when you drive. Watch what's going on. Don't text and drive. Don't be eating. Don't do those other things that distract you, because our roads are narrow, and a lot of times they're really congested, particularly the weekends. I noticed this past weekend, a lot of cars on the road, a lot of folks coming and going, to the island, to Alligator Point. So it's really, really important to be aware. We're going to continue a very aggressive traffic enforcement campaign. As we've told you in the past, all the deputies have radar. They're radar certified, so they will continue to be making traffic stops and issuing tickets. So don't be alarmed if you're breaking the law and you get pulled over and you get a ticket. So just be aware of these things, because our children are very important to us, and we really don't want to have some kind of mishap where a child is hit by a car, particularly an accident that could have been avoided. Probably the next thing we want to talk about is the hurricane safety and hurricane season. We are the first week of hurricane season, and actually, as everyone knows, we had a storm. It wasn't a hurricane, but we had a storm before the season started, and there was a lot of misinformation out. And what I want to do is just briefly talk about that. The bridge was only closed for 2 or 3 hours, the St. George Island Bridge. The Apalachicola Bay Bridge was never closed. The Florida Highway Patrol Emergency Operations Center worked on that issue. The Highway Patrol manned the closure. They were there, and I was there when they opened the bridge, and it was only closed for several hours. It wasn't closed for the entire day. When winds hit 40 to 45 miles an hour sustained, that's when they shut it down. And I think a lot of people got bad information. I don't know where they got it from about the bridge was closed all day long because it wasn't, because we didn't have those sustained winds, in excess of 40 miles an hour, but for just several hours. There were gusts that were higher and stronger, but there was no sustained winds all day long, reaching that 40 miles an hour. So the bridge wasn't closed. So if you have a question about this during the next storm, Emergency Operations Center, I think, is doing a good job. The County Commission is doing a good job of getting this information out. We're going to be pushing it out as well. But don't hesitate to call us if you're concerned, and we will continue to push this information out. And usually the way the bridge is closed, if you get there and there's flashing blue lights, the bridge is closed. It's pretty easy to check. And I know I had some friends that told me they stayed home all day because they thought the bridge was closed. Someone had told them it was closed, and in reality, it had only been closed for several hours in the afternoon, and it was short-lived. The evacuation is another thing, the mandatory evacuation, which the County Commission and the EOC, Emergency Operations Center folks, pushed out after getting information from National Weather Service. Most of the time, we're going to err on the side of caution, because once a storm is imminent and it is off our coast for a few miles, winds may already be reaching tropical force or over that 40 miles an hour. The bridges will be closed and you won't be able to get off, and there could be issues. So that's why we encourage folks to leave early. Just err on the side of caution. Much better to be safe than to be stranded somewhere and help can't get to you, because if we have 911 calls in the midst of a hurricane or tropical storm, if we can't get to you because the weather is so bad, then that's something that could have been avoided if you would have evacuated. I know that we work closely with the rental agencies, and I think all the visitors are told about this when they rent during hurricane season, that it is a possibility. And we don't know how active the hurricane season is going to be, but it looks like we're already having another depression, so we may have a busy season, so we want to be prepared. We're also working with the Red Cross to start, and so is Emergency Operations Center, to disseminate information about what you should do, having water, having batteries, having things that you may need if you lose power or you can't get out of your house if you're stranded somewhere. So we'll be doing more about that as things progress through the season. So any questions thus far before we move on through our agenda?
Yeah, that's what I was going to remind. Those of you who are watching, you can type in a comment or a question, and we will answer those here live with Sheriff Smith, or after the recording is over, we will come back and answer your comments, so you can ask questions throughout the session.
We recently did an active shooter drill at the courthouse, and I think it was a huge success. A lot of the staff got to see just what happens if gunshots and what they sound like start going off in a building, and it's pretty nerve-wracking to be in the building and hear automatic weapon fire. And I think a lot of the employees probably are looking at it a totally different perspective now after hearing that and seeing that. And it was a really great effort. The Sheriff's Office, Appalachia PD, Carabel PD, the court administrator, and all the constitutional officers, the state attorney's office, really worked together really close to put this thing together. Lieutenant Gary Martina was the point on it, and he worked tirelessly, as did a lot of the other folks in the constitutional offices. They met regularly to make sure that this training came off smoothly, and it did. And we are probably soon to release an after-action report about what we discovered, what we need to do to harden the courthouse a little more. We do have some deficiencies that need to be addressed, and we'll be working on that. Next month, we're going to do an active shooter drill with the FBI. They're going to be the trainers. They're coming out of Jacksonville. It's going to be some really good training where we're going to do some advanced active shooter stuff at the Franklin County School. We're excited about that. We're going to get some new training, some fresh ideas, and bring in some folks that's their day job. Active shooter training and dealing with active shooters is what they do every day. So we're excited about that. We think it's going to pay dividends, and we're going to continue to provide the highest level of service, the most advanced training that we can to the deputies that are the ones protecting our precious children in our schools. So I hope everybody feels good about that and knows that we're taking that as a number one priority. One of the things that we've been doing a lot in the last year and a half is training. We have trained excessively repeatedly. I can't emphasize enough how much training all the members of the Sheriff's Office have gone through. Not just the folks carrying the badges, admin staff, communications. We continue to train. One of the things that we've done as a first, and I think the first time that the Academy in Quincy's ever done, is bring a 2-week first-line supervision school to our county at no cost to us. The Florida Sheriff's Association and the Academy and Franklin County Sheriff's Office partnered to do this. It didn't cost us anything to bring this training here. We had some top instructors from the Academy and from other facets of law enforcement that came and have been teaching it. It's a 2-week, very intense class, and we broke the weeks up. The second week began on Monday, it will end Friday, and the majority of our supervisors who've never been to a first-line supervision school before will complete this training. So we're really excited about that, some of the new things they're going to learn, some of the different ways to look at stuff, and we're excited it's going to bring a new perspective and a better and higher level of service to the folks of Franklin County. One of the other things we've been doing for training is a Commander's Academy. Several years ago, the Florida Sheriff's Association started a Commander's Academy for lieutenant, captains, majors, command staff level personnel who work in sheriff's offices. It's a 2-week course, very intensive, a lot of different law enforcement leaders with lots of years of leadership are the presenters and the facilitators for this class. And since I was elected sheriff, they're only given about every 6 months. So we've tried to have a top ranking leader from the sheriff's office be in attendance. Major Carroll attended. Captain Barnes just recently graduated. Captain Webb will graduate on Friday. And then as the classes become available, we will put other folks in there. These classes, again, they're tuition free, and it's some of the best training we can get. So we're taking advantage of that, and we're bringing as many courses as we can. We're soon to put on another CPR class, instructor class. We have folks that are instructors. The crisis intervention training that we've been doing for about the last year, which deals with dealing with people with mental health issues. We're about 2/3 through all the employees taking this training, and it's so important because it teaches them how to deal with folks that are having mental health issues so that they don't immediately resort to violence or use deadly force when someone may be having some kind of mental health crisis and causing a problem. So those are some of the things that training-wise we're really proud of. The 2-week line supervision, we have corrections folks in there as well as our law enforcement folks. So we're continuing to do those things. But then now I want to talk about what's going on in the jail. Our Fresh Start program, which we've been running about a year, I think next month we're going to have several graduate from that program, and then they will move on to transitional housing, which we're really excited about that. They've completed the 12-month program, and they'll be moving on, and hopefully with a new perspective on life and addiction-free, and starting to do things to be a productive part of the community. They're not going to be living here. They're actually going to South Carolina to a house there that Tim Terry, when he set up the Fresh Start program, established. They're still looking for a house in Panama City to buy so they can start a transitional housing over there so that some of our folks won't have as far to go. But actually the folks that are in the program now they're kind of excited about going somewhere new and seeing something different. Most of them are familiar with Panama City. So Charleston, I think, is a great town for them to go to. They have them jobs. They'll have places for them to stay. So it's a really, really cool thing that these folks are going to see that. We're continuing to move people through the Fresh Start. Dan Husk and James Donald and just a bunch of really good people who have been working on these programs. They do it all volunteer. It's all voluntary. There's no, they're not getting paid, which is one of the great things about the people in our community. There's so many that want to volunteer and they're not looking to get a paycheck, which is really cool. We're doing a Fresh Start Light, which is made up of our females. That's been going well, and we're excited about that. And of course, one of the plans we have is to build a rehab center behind the jail, and that's still in the works. We're working on that. We're putting some plans together, but that would be a way that we'd have plenty of room to do males, females, maybe even transitional beds so folks have a place to go when they finish the program until they're established, which is so important. So those are very important. And one of the other things that we've been, one of our partners that we've had of late is Mike Watkins with Big Bend Community-Based Care. Those guys serve about 8 counties in the Big Bend, one of them being our county. And they are bringing some services to us that we've never had before. And I'm really excited about that because we're going to start with Dis Village, which is a partner with Big Bend Community-Based Care. And they're going to help us set up telemedicine for mental health so that folks that are in jail can be evaluated without a doctor being here. They'll go face-to-face on TV where they can talk confidentially, and then they can be evaluated. And we may also use that for rehabilitation. And probably one of the next things that I'm excited about is we're working on a drug court for the county, which is no small undertaking. Big Bend Community-Based Care, again, has committed $50,000 to fund it, which was one of our stumbling blocks before. So this will be a joint effort between public defender, clerk of the court, sheriff's office, state attorney's office. A lot of moving parts there, the circuit judge. So a lot of moving parts, but a lot of good things that can come out of it. And actually on the way over here today, I was talking to Mike again, Mike Watkins with Big Bend Community-Based Care. One of the things I was talking about was getting help, getting counseling, drug counseling for people who aren't in Fresh Start, who are just sitting in jail waiting to either make it to their court date or they're serving a small amount of time in county jail. And we need a way for them to have counseling as well. So I spoke to Mike, and that's something I think through Dis Village we're going to make happen very soon, is have at least one day a week that somebody would come down and interact with these folks, have a counseling session, and which I think is so positive because we can't just warehouse people in jail and expect them to be better. We have to give them opportunities. We had 2 young ladies, 2 young women who graduated last night from the GED program. I'm really proud of Amy Anderson and Cora Bass. They've really excelled. So they have their GED now, which is a first step towards going to college, getting a better job. And one of the things that we're thinking about for the future is some vocational training at the jail, maybe even college courses, some things like that. We're talking about starting a small garden plot in the back. So there's a lot of different things we can do to teach some of these skills to people and help them become productive parts of the community. Addiction has been such a big thing. A lot of the folks in jail, the majority of them have some kind of addiction problem. So we got to help the addiction problem while we train them to be able to take care of themselves when they get out, because we know that arresting the same people over and over and over is not the solution to the problem. We can't warehouse them. We got to help them get better, and then we got to help them find jobs. And I'm really thankful to all the folks in the community that have reached out when we ask about jobs for inmates getting out of jail. I know that we've been very fortunate. Most of them have found jobs. I know people have called me. We're going to continue to reach out to you and let you know when we have inmates getting out that need a job. And we have a lot of them that work in our trustee program that are really hard workers, that are doing good work, and they just, they need an opportunity, and we're certainly willing to help them get started. And I appreciate that the folks in the community are helping them to get ready by giving them a job. Because if somebody has had an addiction problem and they are released from jail with no place to live and no job, 99.9% they're going to reoffend. They're going to be back in jail, and we're going to continue to feed them and house them and do all these things, and we really need to make them better and help them to do that and encourage them. And that's what we want to do at the Sheriff's Office.
Right. Just to back up a little bit, when you were speaking about the training with officers and the captains, tons of thumbs up on that. Folks are proud and glad to hear that there's ongoing training going on at the Sheriff's Office. And then concerning the rehab and the drug court, tons of love on that, and a couple of nice comments from Forrest Presnell Jr. Thank you for all of your hard work trying to get the drugs and thieves out of Franklin County, as well as all of the support you provide to those willing to accept it to better their lives.
Thank you. And
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Settle Kits, that's a great program. I'll refer to the Fresh Start. Miss Nancy Calhoun, thank you, Sheriff Smith, for your dedication and efforts to make Franklin County better by helping those who have become lost on the path of life. Cynthia Scarabin, positive actions should have positive results. Great work. And then Dawn McKenna, wish we had a sheriff like you up here. Not sure where up here is, but But
Well,
thank you, Don.
Well, you know, and what I want to say is none of this could happen without the amazing people that work at the Sheriff's Office. We have a really good team, and I'm thankful for each and every one of them that work there, that are committed to it, because they certainly aren't in it for the money. I'm sure a lot of them could make a lot more money doing other things, but they're committed, they care, and that's the kind of people I want. I tell them this all the time. If you don't have a servant's heart, you don't need to work at the Sheriff's Office. If you're not willing to serve the person who is at the lowest socioeconomic class, regardless of the color, then you don't need to work at the Sheriff's Office. Whether it's changing somebody's tire or just listening to their problem. I listen to people's problems all day long. That's what a lot of the deputies, the dispatchers, admin staff, and that's our job. And if you don't want to listen to it, then you don't need to be in this job. And I know that we've had quite a bit of turnover while I've been sheriff, but I expect a lot. I work people hard, and I expect them to treat them with the golden rule, and I expect loyalty, and I expect everyone that works here to go out of their way to help those that can't help themselves. And they have been doing that, and I couldn't be more proud of a group of men and women than I have right now. And you know, we're not perfect. We do make mistakes, and we try to call people back as quickly as we can. And I know I get a lot of messages on Facebook, and sometimes I don't get them as quickly as I should. You know, I encourage people, if you got an issue, call me. Most everybody knows my number. Call me, and that way I can respond quicker. If it's not an emergency, just call the office and leave a message with Renee Griffin, or whoever answers the phone. I'll call you back. Or if I'm at the office, people can stop in. They do that all the time. They stop in. Stop in. We're happy to take people. You don't have to have an appointment. If I'm in the office, I'm going to see you. So I work for you. That's kind of the best thing I can say. I don't care who you are, rich or poor, I work for you. So you're welcome at the Sheriff's Office anytime. I encourage people to come by and see what we've done at the Sheriff's Office, what we've done to kind of overhaul some of the stuff. I mean, the facility is old. It is old, and so we've done a lot to make it better. I mean, just because it's old doesn't mean it's wore out. I say that because I'm old, and I hope I'm not wore out yet. I hope I got a few years left in me, but that Sheriff's Office belongs to the people of Franklin County. So anytime you're around, feel free to stop in. Coffee pot's on. We'll hope to make you feel welcome, and if there's anything that you need, please call us. Like I said, all weekend long, I take calls, Facebook, emails, text messages, and I appreciate the people who are calling about drug tips. We actually had a burglary in Lanark a couple of weeks ago. A guy had a video, and we posted the video on our Facebook, and bam, people saw the picture. They called in. The suspect has, I don't know if they've arrested him yet, but I know they did get a warrant on him. And so stuff like that is so amazing when the community responds and helps us solve crime, because we can't do it without you. We need your help. We need you to call in. We need you to be an extra set of eyes for us. And when something like that happens, it's really amazing when the community makes the arrest, because that's what they did. Y'all made the arrest. So
that's right. And just to say, you've got folks in Alaska and Arizona that want you to come be their sheriff, but I'd just say we're going to keep him here a little bit longer. And Sheriff, we've got about 5 minutes, and we can wrap it up. We've got one more question or comment. Jason Verheyen: if my kids weren't so active in their school here, North Georgia, I would love to come work for you there. Military retired and current deputy sheriff.
Come on, we're looking for good people. Yeah. We try to hire local, and if we can't find people who want to go to work here, we will recruit from somewhere else, because, I mean, I know I can't say it enough, or maybe I say it too much, but you just need a servant's heart. You've got to be willing to serve, and I think that, you know, everyone here that works at the Sheriff's Office has that servant's heart, and they're willing to serve. And, you know, it's not always a pleasant job. It's not always something you have to do. Like, we had a drowning on Sunday, and these things occur when you least expect it, and that's not something that is easy for the men and women that have to do this, and I know it, and I just can't say enough about the team that we have and the things that they're doing. I mean, a lot of them, I don't care what time of the day or night you call them, they will respond. They come out. It doesn't matter. I have the command staff, same way. They work. Just like while we've had this training going on, the folks that are part of command staff that aren't on shift have come out and covered shifts so that we can get these people trained. They've sacrificed. And when you do that kind of stuff, you got the best people going. It makes your organization, the cream of the crop. So I'm very, very fortunate. And one of the things that we're going to do tomorrow, tune in. We are going to carry on a tradition that Sheriff Mock started when he was sheriff. And we've added new cars to the fleet. We've done some new paint scheme for them. But we're going to add the "In God We Trust" decals back to the vehicles that don't have them. I think the men and women at the Sheriff's Office still believe in God we trust, and I like it. I like what Sheriff Mock did. I know Sheriff McKeithen started it over in Bay County, and I'm excited that we're going to put these decals back on the car. We're going to proudly display them, and because in God we do trust. And with that, I'm going to wrap it up unless anybody has any questions.
That's it. You just got lots of great comments, lots of support and love on the final comments and subjects that we were talking about. Jason Verheyen, again, we visit often and we appreciate y'all's service. Forrest Presnell, leaving the Virginia home next week to head to Tampa to pick up my new boat, haul it to the Lanark house. He wants you to take a day off and go fishing.
Well, call me. I'll be glad to.
Walt Blackstock, Sheriff, you have found your calling. Keep up the good work. You have learned plenty from many and kept the good. Settle Kit, we love visiting your county every year. It's beautiful there. Kaylee Coulter, yay for In God We Trust. Monica Johnson just saying hello. Jennifer Way, In God We Trust. Lots of comments for thumbs up for putting the In God We Trust on the new car.
We try to stay on top of everything we need to do, but I think for some reason it kind of got biased. But tomorrow we'll do a Facebook Live or we'll do a post, and please share it and let people know. And I really don't care who doesn't like it. I'm sorry, but I like the tradition. I like what it means, and we're going to continue to do it. So with that said, have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. And as always, anything we can do to help you, please reach out to us. Thank you.
I think we'll finish up and show you guys a little bit of the view. It is beautiful here. Scipio Creek Marina.
Yeah, and thank Mr. Ross again.
And thank you, Mr. Ross, for letting us crash your porch.